So thank you so much for your time. Great to have you again on our board. So right now, unfortunately, I'm hosting you online, but maybe it's fortunate, who knows?
Maybe it's fortunate. Very, very happy to be here again. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Andrzej. And while you are the first CEO of the company who will have a chance through our channels to resume and at the same time update how COVID 2020 was done, my question is at the same time not just to resume and not to make some sort of conclusion what kind of 2020 year we had in the field of company. I really want to have your personal opinion in regards of human resources. What was developed in a better way? Did we create some additional fields in regards of leadership during this unprecedented period? And could you create some additional, not just challenges, but creations, something new what has happened within your team during this period? Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, very good question. Thank you for starting with this aspect. So obviously, just like every commercial organization, there is always a ton of various risk analysis being done on an ongoing basis. Obviously, I presume that most of the companies never included in their respective risk profiles pandemic of that massive global scale. We are not an exception. The difference between our approach and possibly approaches of some other companies is that we were never sort of strictly office-based team. The nature of our business allows us to work pretty much from anywhere.
And I'm sorry, but worth to mention, Andrzej, that during your last interview, it was rather before the pandemic was held itself. It was a part of the culture coming from your company.
Exactly. So this sort of be free approach we've been using sort of partly the name of our brand, was already something that was deeply rooted in our mentality and a corporate culture. So switching from purely office based work to work from anywhere gradually came pretty much as the easiest task during the when the pandemic started back in spring. What you very rightly pointed, though, is that there is a sort of cultural backbone in our organization which allows us to be very swift about this. This cultural backbone includes very high level of trust. So we don't look at each other as a team from the perspective of the time being spent in the office, because this is not the value we create. The value we create is related to the outcome of our efforts. And when we deliver whatever we agree with each other that we will deliver in respective time and quality, it honestly does not matter for me or for any member of my management team, be this my direct reports or even mid-management. Whoever manages specific efforts, specific project or a stream of activity is for that purpose not required to be in the office. The only thing that matters is the outcome being delivered in a agreed time and agreed quality.
At the same time, you know, I have some sort of pre-question here. Yes, your company, because of some culture, some internal bylaws, some different management, what was accomplished years ago, months ago, here the situation is different. But at the same time, what's your personal point of view? We do have knowledge and information that some companies are in a position to survey. What's and how is there a sort of more model how they can survey? It's going to be a part of corporate culture. It's going to be a price what's going to be paid by the best ever management in the company, or how do you see it?
So in order to survive it doesn't really matter whether the crisis is very high or is it just some kind of obstacles that you meet. You as a manager, as an executive, together with the team, we have to be aware of the purpose. And from my perspective, this is sort of the key thing. If you have this very deeply rooted understanding of the purpose, what is the reason for you individually to wake up every morning, to start working, be this from the office, from your summer house outside the city, be this from home in the end, this is something that pushes you forward. And as long as this is something that you live with, then I believe this is one of the key components of survival. Moreover, if this kind of approach is supported within the structure from the top, so-called the tone from the top supports this kind of way of thinking, then it makes you even more motivated. There is specific category of people. I have a great honor to have vast majority of my team being driven this specific way. We understand our obligation towards our customers in very precise and very same manner. If we fail in delivering our services, then apart from obviously the negative business outcome, we will not feel the comfort of the job being properly done. And I believe this is the key component of the strive, or the key component of the push towards being better and better regardless the conditions.
Tell me, what about the team members themselves? I mean, what about this spiritual optimism, their motivation, while being Andrzej always on track, while being always motivated? Somebody should be always on track to cheer up them, including the situation. How important this part of the story is?
Well, this is a very good question, because it goes directly to sort of forced work-life balance. Working from home makes the line between the work and the job a little bit blurry. You basically spend most of your time at home, same time you work. So it's not work from home. Mostly, in many cases, it's like taking your office to your home location. So finding the right balance is the key. Transferring the whole interpersonal interactions to fully online environment is a difficult thing. And I believe it will never happen fully, and I believe it's a good thing, because we are social creatures and we need to interact in person. And I still honestly believe that this is only the matter of time when the situation will come back to some kind of normal, and there will be a visible portion of time that we will be spending interacting on a personal level. I very much miss this personally.
Same here, but at the same time, we both know that in the best scenario, Andrzej, the first quarter of the next year will remain at least in the same situation. Let's not go too far. You personally, your team, how you plan this nearest future, while knowing that pandemic will be with us at least in the beginning of the year. Do you guys, you personally, plan some additional adaptation tools? How you're planning and at the same time thinking about the next year?
So we've been probably through a lot during most of this year. So having this very straightforward approach on testing various approaches, how do we mimic, in a sense, interpersonal relations in the online environment? We've tested numerous concepts, numerous approaches. We've been trying, with my absolutely outstanding internal communications team, we've been trying to add a little bit of after-work entertainment for our team members in the online environment. So there was this very famous thing that we call the coffee break, where a group of people gather together in their respective locations. They switch our online platform, and they just chat about things that are not necessarily related to what we do during our working hours. More of this kind of initiatives will definitely come, because as you rightly pointed, we have at least one quarter to live through. Nobody is saying that it's going to be easier in terms of delivering the results, in terms of keeping the team motivated, in terms of in the end, but this is definitely not the least important thing. We have to, as an employers, as the leaders, we have to be mindful about the well-being of our team, in a sense of keeping people in the right mood, in a way, to help them survive, because the time is not easy. I'm probably really good example in that specific area, because as you remember from our previous meetings, I don't have my family here. So I've spent Easter on video. I very much hope that I will not be spending Christmas on video with my family back in Poland. But it also raises my concern about my teammates, because I don't want them to suffer more than they've been suffering already, because they have not seen each other in the office for a while. They cannot interact properly during the projects they've been managing, and so on and so forth. So my key concern is to keep them safe, to allow them to interact personally as much as possible with all the safety guarantees and specific measures. But answering directly to your questions, the key thing for Q1 is, for us as an employer, keep the people going, keep them happy, keep them safe, and believe that those components will be sufficient to achieve the expected results.
Tell me how we deal with the redemption generally of everything, but at the same time, let's talk about the revenues themselves. I mean, what we see is the constant problems within the business community in all the industries in regards of revenues, liquidity in general, Andrzej. So do you plan to revise your plans for 2021, or how do you plan your nearest business year, upcoming year?
The key thing about our way of looking at the plans for the upcoming years is that our industry is happy enough as a whole that we provide the services that allow people to be connected. So obviously the hit was not that heavy. We obviously were struggling to achieve the targets of revenue and in various streams, but the performance of this year looks really promising, both in Georgia and in other companies in the group. And we are constantly adjusting our outlook, as we call it, for the first half of 2021. There are specific framework that we've constructed with my colleagues from management team. How do we approach costs, for instance, line by line? How do we approach the revenue streams? And the logic is pretty simple, and I'm really proud to work with the group of people that are so sympathetic towards the approach. We decided back during the first wave of COVID in the spring that we will not be making any savings on our people. So as we promised in 2019 that we will increase salaries in Q1 2020, the increase of salaries actually happened. We never fired anyone. When the shops were closed, we were paying full salaries and agreed amount of monthly bonuses, despite the fact that the people were spending their time at home using our online learning platform to gain some new skills. And this is the approach we are going to continue during 2021.
While mentioning service digitalization within Arset, do you find it as a key point within your plans for the next years, at the same time taking into consideration all the things and changes happening around, coming on, beginning from consumer behavior and till the end, everything is totally changing?
Digitalization is something that people already start laughing about in a context of COVID, because in every company, the position in the structure that is responsible for digital agenda is called with different nicely sounding acronyms, CSO, CDO, whatever. And there was this very fun story circulating around the internet who actually is responsible for digitalization in your company. And COVID was one of the acronyms that was an option to be selected. In our company, it was not COVID, firstly. Secondly, we've been doing very well in terms of digitizing our services before COVID happened. COVID facilitated, but the facilitation was much more on a consumer side rather than on our side, because we were already in really good shape in terms of using of our self-care application, which is basically the Beeline shop in your phone at your fingertips. You can activate any product, you can top up your account, you can add you can add services, you can select services, you can even do the things within our application that are not natively related to telecom. So for instance, if you have utilities bill to pay, you can enter the code and you can check how much you owe for utilities. And we continue this way with the objective to make our customers' life even easier. The adoption is very well. People are very happy with.
How active were they, Andrzej? How active were they? I mean, was it a part? Can you conclude that it was already a part of like their behavior of your clients while visiting your digital shop and things like happening? Do we have any kind of statistics what can be already considered as a part of life or behavior, whatever?
That's a very, very good question. So just to give you the overall idea, in terms of the usage of our application, we are number one in our country in terms of downloads. So it's the most frequently downloaded self-service application of all industries in the country. We are number one in the telecommunication business in terms of the daily usage. So the biggest part of our customer base of all the carriers has been using our self-service application for their daily needs. So be this top up, be this the tariff plan activation, or any other services that can be done through the application, has already been on a very high level as a percentage of the total customer base. And what I mentioned before, COVID only facilitated this because people realized that this is just easy. You don't have to go anywhere, and you have every services at your fingertips. So like 3 clicks, and you have your top up concluded. 3 clicks, and you have your service activated. And obviously on our side, it puts a little bit on a pressure on my digital team in order to make it even more and more user-friendly. But still, I'm really happy with the traction. And in fact, all of our online channels, be this the desktop version on mobile or mobile application, are the biggest winners of this COVID. So I'm in that specific aspect, no matter how sad it was overall globally, in that specific aspect, I'm really happy that we were able to provide the product to our customers that presented itself as a very useful during these difficult times.
Andrzej, thank you so much again for being with us. I hope you are all safe, including your family. Tell me about your Christmas and New Year plans. So, is it already on? You know what you're planning in this regards, or it's going to be digital as we plan here in Georgia because of this specific situation happening of quarantine and things like that?
So I spent quite a lot of time to force, in a sense, my family to come here for Christmas. But it turned out that it's easier for me to go home, despite the fact that I have to go all the way through Germany and only then catch a flight from Germany to Poland, because direct flights are still not operational. So I do hope that I will be able to make it to Poland for Christmas, unless nothing really bad will happen back in my native country. And obviously, I do hope to be able to seamlessly come back to Georgia, because I cannot stand outside Georgia longer than 2-3 weeks. I've been through this during my summer holidays. It's been 2.5 weeks with my family in Poland, and I miss Georgia so much that I was really happy, despite the fact that I had to undergo a 24-hour quarantine when I came back. I was really happy to be home, and I know this time I'm also going to miss the country.
Thank you so much, and good luck. Thank you, Andrzej.
Many thanks.